68, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
You've worked hard, saved diligently, and now retirement is on the horizon. But will your nest egg go the distance? With rising cost and uncertain markets, there's no time for oversimplified plans. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Got pickleball game? Play with Seattle football legends in the Champions of Change pickleball tournament on June 28th, benefiting high school athletes. Register at championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball or donate at your local Safeway.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. The FBI calls it a targeted terror attack. The makeshift flamethrower used by a man to injure 8 people at an event for the Israeli hostages in Gaza held in Boulder, Colorado. CBS's Scott McFarland says the suspect in custody is an Egyptian national who officials say is in the country illegally.
Among the local charges that will be handed up this afternoon at the courthouse in Boulder, Colorado, is a charge of a crime that targeted the elderly or senior citizens, those who may be at risk because of their age or vulnerable because of their age. These are the local charges right now. We'd expect there's a possibility the feds will take this case too and charge this in U.S. District Court, as the FBI is now joining local law enforcement on this investigation.
Jonathan Greenblatt is CEO of the Anti-Defamation League.
My first concern is for the 8 victims of this firebombing. We understand these people in their mid-50s to their late 80s, one of whom is a Holocaust survivor. So God willing, they will all recuperate and be okay, although 2 of them, I'm told, are in critical condition.
The U.S. Supreme Court passes on a chance to hear a challenge to state bans on high-powered weapons.
The justices turned down a case against a Maryland law that was passed after the Sandy Hook Elementary School mass shooting in 2012. The decision comes 3 years after the High Court handed down a landmark ruling that expanded Second Amendment rights. Gun advocates and attorneys for Maryland disagree over whether the AR-15 and similar weapons are protected by it. Several states have similar measures, and congressional Democrats have also supported the ban on so-called assault weapons. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
And the high courts agreed to consider reviving a Republican challenge to an Illinois law that allows mail ballots to be counted if they're received up to 2 weeks after Election Day. On the Health Watch today, CBS's Elaine Cobb on a new drug for some breast cancer patients.
Pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca says its new breast cancer drug can stop mutating tumors before they start to grow. Unveiling positive trial results on patients with advanced breast cancer, the company said its camizestrant cut the risk of a tumor progressing or a patient dying by 56%, and it significantly helped improve general health and quality of life.
And a study out today says a new treatment could help patients with a less common form of breast cancer cut their risk of death in half. Talks in Turkey between Ukraine and Russia lasted about an hour today. They did agree to swap 6,000 bodies of soldiers killed in the war. The Dow is down 170. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Viciously stabbed. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. In Marysville, State Route 529 southbound is closed for bridge repair. This is causing big backups on I-5 southbound, almost back to State Route 531. Travel time Arlington to Everett, 50 minutes. That's almost 40. almost a 40-minute delay there. Still waiting for volumes to lighten up across the board. Travel time, Federal Way to Seattle, 52 minutes, not quite 10 more than usual. Renton to Bellevue, 45, just a few minutes over. And Everett to Seattle, half an hour. You're right on target there. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A rideshare driver is recovering but might lose his eye after he was stabbed in the parking lot of a restaurant in Everett. More from KIRO's 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
Rideshare driver Yuri Vakulchik became the victim of a brutal, bloody attack. Yuri's son says someone came up from behind and grabbed him.
He heard the guy say, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead," and started slicing him.
Any idea what may have provoked this?
I have no idea.
He says his father was cut multiple times in the neck and head. When police showed up, the attacker took off in Yuri's SUV. Officers quickly tracked down and arrested the suspect. Yuri is still recovering. His son credits police for saving his dad's life.
One person is in custody accused of stabbing 11 people at a homeless shelter in Salem, Oregon last night. First responders say there are varying degrees of injuries. No word yet on what prompted the attack. And Seattle police are looking for the gunman who injured a man in an early morning shooting. More on that from KIRO News Radio's Scott Carty.
It happened in a homeless encampment. It appears the suspect had the victim's phone cord and wouldn't give it back. After arguing, the 41-year-old victim was shot. He was soon found on Hanford Street near Franklin High School. A tourniquet was applied, and he was transported to Harborview in stable condition. Scott Carty, KIRO News Radio.
A new program starts today to improve safety in Seattle's Chinatown International District. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more on the Community Ambassador Program.
Those ambassadors will be walking around every day, 7 days a week, usually in the afternoon and evening hours. This is in response to the recent violence in this district. Just in the month of May, 2 shootings and a stabbing hurt 4 people. In December, another man was attacked. And in November, 10 people were stabbed in separate incidents, but police did make an arrest for that.
What a way to begin your major league career. The Mariners called up Cole Young from the minors to play in Saturday's game against the Twins before a home crowd and in the bottom of the 11th.
Swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base, throw home, not in time!
Young hit the winning run in. The M's won 2 in their 3-game series against Minnesota. They start a 3-game homestand against Baltimore tomorrow. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies with highs around 70. It's 57 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, June 2nd. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. And by the way, we are at the halfway point of the year 2025. Ursula is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning. Do you just wake up with these facts? I'm like, we're at a halfway point, and now I'm even more aware of time.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked me that. And the reason why I'm so aware of that is because as I write goals down for the month all the time. And so I'll just throw this question to you. We're at the halfway mark of 2025. Are you ahead or behind of whatever it is that you wanted to do in this year?
I'm on track.
Okay.
I'm tracking.
Okay.
Yes.
You're tracking.
Yes. But mainly because I live in a world of deadlines. So the deadlines keep me honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, how about you, brother? Are you ahead or behind of what you wanted to do this year?
A little behind, but I think I'm gaining some momentum. I was trying to cut back on like the soda and the sugar. I was got a little cravings in the wintertime, but now the weather's getting warmer. It's a little easy to go lighter on the diet, so we're getting some momentum.
Talk to your boy, Chef. Talk to me.
What are these goals that you speak of?
You have goals for the year? Did you have a plan for 2025 for something that you want? No? Okay.
No.
Fair.
Yeah, I roll with it.
All right. Well, text in. Are you ahead or are you behind? Or are you like Chef? Like, nah, G, no goals for 2025. Let's just get to it. Ursula's top stories of the day brought to you by Bath Fitter Northwest.
A King County Sheriff's Office deputy is accused of raping a 17-year-old girl. The allegations go back to 2017 and 2018 when Deputy Ricardo Cueva led the Police Explorers program. Cueva has been placed on administrative leave, and he turned himself into authorities on Friday. Bail set at $150,000. According to Fox 13, about a decade ago, Cueva was the subject of another sexual misconduct case. He was accused of touching a 10-year-old girl. The sheriff's office ultimately found no evidence and dismissed the case. The Police Explorer program is a national volunteer program for teens and young adults interested in law enforcement, providing them with opportunities like ride-alongs with officers, classes, and various events to gain insight into the profession. Gee, I know you and I had a chance to talk about this, and one of our big questions was, there was a red flag on this person more than 10 years ago. And if someone, even though he wasn't charged at that time, should you be allowed to then run an explorers program after that? There's the legal aspect, but then there's just, you're running a youth program. It seems like you'd err on the side of safety.
Before I weigh in on this, I just want to tell you how bad I am at realizing when the halfway point is of 2025, and it's actually at the end of June. So everybody that's texting in, thank you. Slam dunk on me all you want to.
But you know what? That's okay, because now we're ahead because we've got the mindset like it's coming.
Well, anyway,
so you did us a favor.
Slam dunk on me. Now, let me get to this point because I'm about to slam dunk on the King County Sheriff's Department. How did you all let this happen? How? There were allegations of this same alleged suspect on a 10-year-old back 11 years ago in 2014. They didn't go further with the case because you didn't find enough evidence. I'm sorry, but I just want to ask everyone listening right now. If there are allegations of someone against a 10-year-old, you mean to tell me you would let this person be in charge of a program full of teens? What are we doing? And then we wonder why every day here on this show we are bringing up lawsuits within the police departments that are happening over and over and over again. And these decisions, poor decisions, guess who pays for that? Not them, because remember, they get qualified immunity, law enforcement. So it's we, the taxpayers, that pay for this. I just want to say that, usually this is a time where I can say I'm not shocked and I'm not surprised. Yes, I am actually shocked and I'm surprised that someone with allegations against a 10-year-old only less than 4 years later was in charge of a program with teens. This is got to be awful, and it should be the number one story around. One last point. Mm-hmm. It goes to the point how people always love to demonize those undocumented immigrants and tell you that these are the people that are causing all the crime and doing all these things. Let's talk about a lot of times when we trust people that are in charge, because when we do this in the media, usually the people that we're talking about are the ones that betray our trust in the community.
Oh, yeah. And this was a person who was, he was Employee of the Year in 2018. And the alleged victim said this is why she didn't come forward. She felt like no one would believe her. He had a wife and a kid. And here's the point I want to make, because I think it gets worse beyond what you mentioned.
Talk to me.
There's the question of why you would put him in charge, right?
Yep.
But let's say you still did put him in charge. Nothing was found. Let's put him in charge. Wouldn't you have some policies in place to prevent this? Wouldn't you have some policies that say, you know what, going forward, we're going to say there are no solo ride-alongs. You have to go 2 people at a time, or there has to be 2 adults, something. And I don't know if we have any evidence of that. And I'm sorry to say it does get worse, because I started looking into this program, and there's this nonprofit called the Marshall Project, nonprofit journalism. They've been investigating these Youth Explorer programs.
Okay.
They say since 1975, there have been nearly 200 cases of kids being abused, mostly girls, in these Explore programs. And so they've been, as of last year, and this aired on NBC, it's been all been verified, and some of them, the people were actually charged and went to jail and all the things. Cool. But this is a trend. We saw a major shift in sports with the gymnasts that came along, and Safe Sport was created by Congress as a way to have some policies in place that, hey, here are the rules we follow. I don't know why those in charge in law enforcement have not done the same. They should be leading in this. There should be no program. There should be no program where there isn't a policy in place to try to prevent abuse, period. And I will tell you as a parent that if you want to do this experiment and text me, okay? Whatever activity your kid is involved in, I would love for you to go to the people in charge and just ask that question. I'm just curious, what policies do you have in place for this field trip or this thing to prevent abuse or to prevent sex assault? And let me tell you, if you hear crickets, that's a red flag. And I'm amazed at how often I have heard crickets.
I'll tell you that experiment that you just put before us, I think that most of us will hear crickets. And the reason why I believe that is, do you know that what you just said, that question you just asked, of asking an organization or a company, what is your policy to prevent abuse? I have never in my life heard that question. Mm-hmm. So if I've never even heard that question, that lets me know. And it reminds me, and I've told the story on the air before, when I first moved here. And I moved here in 99. In 2000, I wanted to coach basketball. Mm-hmm. And when I did, I had an opportunity to coach at ECBA. And they get a girls' basketball team. It was a 7th grade girls' basketball team. I was excited about it, the opportunity. I was really excited. Mm-hmm. I told my father about it, and he says, you need to stop doing that. Don't do it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you don't want to take any chances. You're new in that town. I don't think it's a good idea. I thought my dad was tripping. There was a practice where, parents come and get their kids. Mm-hmm. Well, there was a little girl that her parents were late. And it was just me and the gal in the gym. And I'm telling you, it hit me right then. Like, okay, Dad, I get it. That was it for me.
Gee.
That was it for me.
I'm glad you bring that up because Angela, you brought this up in our meeting. I've never heard this question, just like G. And I thought about, okay, well, what about the things I'm involved in? For example, Little League. There's no policy that says, coach can't bring a kid home after practice.
I know. It's
right?
wild. It's wild.
Are they doing ride-alongs for this Explorer program, one-on-one,
yes,
just hanging out?
Yes. And if you go to Safe Sport, they have a whole handbook. So if you are part of a Little League, even if it's not sports, you can use some of these guidelines to help you. And I just want to mention, we talk about these numbers from the Marshall Project, but we should note that most people don't come forward. And this young woman in this particular case only came forward. She's 24 now, I believe. And a sheriff's deputy called her about something else. Mm-hmm. And she said, hey, by the way, is this person still in charge of this program? And when she found out he was, that is what led her to actually say something. Right. So
before we leave this topic, and this is something that I make sure I make it a point of that I am super impressed with, is that officer that called this alleged victim about a topic, something else, and they was brought to that officer's attention. That officer could have sat on that and just not said anything. Thank you to that officer for bringing this forward, because that officer has prevented other victims from happening. So thank you to that officer. And again, further proof that I got to give love when law enforcement is transparent and not standing by and not trying to protect the blue shield. I'm going to go ahead and throw love.
That's well said. Thank you for saying that. Okay, the Washington State Championships in track and field, they wrapped up this weekend, and a transgender athlete came away with her second consecutive state title in the 2A 400 meter. Is everything okay?
I was about to walk out, but go ahead.
Okay, so should I keep talking?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, Veronica Garcia of Spokane did this despite a brutal response from spectators. According to the Seattle Times, while she warmed up before the race, a man near the starting blocks wearing an American flag shirt that read Save Women's Sports repeated, "Let's go girls," and "girls race." Then at the podium, as she was named the winner, people booed. I mean, there were other things too. In Washington, there are fewer than 10 transgender student athletes who participate in girls' sports. WIAA rules allow them to participate in a sport that aligns with their gender identity. Now, Gee, because I know you have some thoughts on this, I was at an event Friday night, and you know how you overhear conversations?
Yeah.
And I'm overhearing these people talk.
Okay.
And one of them just says, look, I know there are so many sides to this issue. And so she just wanted to put aside the politics around the issue. And she said, but booing the kid, that was her. Like she was saying, regardless of where you stand, is this the right approach to like boo the kid, harass the kid? It's still, her point was it's still a teenager.
Agreed. We talked about last year when this very topic came up. We talked about that. No, I don't agree with the boo.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how we... you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to need you right now.
Okay. Two things. First of all, I support people who want to own like their identity and live authentically. I support that. And at the same time, I can't ignore biology if an athlete has gone through puberty, that kind of thing. And if I'm a parent of an athlete and there's a competition like this, I do have a problem. I really like something that California recently did because they have a transgender athlete at the center of this debate. And they are now saying, and this just happened late last week, but they're saying that if a transgender athletes win, the cisgender, some of these terms, but if you're, cisgender sounds so...
I understand it.
Okay, so if a transgender athlete wins, the girls athlete, that's still... I'm trying to... Okay, let me just try to talk about this, and y'all just forgive me if I say something wrong, okay?
Go ahead, do your thing.
The athletes who are not transgender can still win the title they would have won had the transgender athlete not been there. So it enables them to then share a podium. So... you get what I'm saying? So if a transgender athlete's there, the person who came in second place is now first place because had that transgender athlete not. And I think that is a reasonable solution. Are you doing okay? Did I stall for a while, give you a chance to kind of come to?
Yeah, you did. I sent this to my closest people in my text, and my wife was in there and others, and I'm not going to say what they said about it. But first, let me just say this. There's only about roughly 8 to 10 transgender athletes in the state of Washington.
That's it.
We've talked about that. And I have been on record saying that this isn't a big deal like people think. Nobody's walking across the street all constantly with a trans athlete playing in these sports. But this can't happen. You cannot have this. This can't happen. You can't have a state champion in this situation. So if that's the case, and my simple fix is this: you want to compete? Compete. No doubt about it. Go ahead and compete. But you cannot be the champions of a women's 2A. In this case, it was 2A for the state of Washington, where there is 1A, 2A, 3A, or 4A. You can compete. But you can't be the champion. That is my fix to this. Yes.
What about the sharing of the podium?
No.
Why?
No.
Because to me, that feels inclusive, and it also honors the.
No.
What's your issue with it? I want to know what your issue is with the sharing of the podium.
I don't want to do the sharing of the podium. It is
like when you go on your resume or an athletic recruiter, they're not going to say, "Oh, did you have to share it with the transgender athlete?" They're just going to see that you were first place.
Yeah, I think it's a good fix.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, like, you agree with the California. And I think, okay, great. There's somebody trying to come with a solution. I'm saying, I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. Gee's solution behind closed doors and not on the air is simple. If you identify as a female or a male or however you want to do it, you can compete. But my rule is going to be simple.
You can't
You
go
can't
taking the
be
championship.
the champion. That's it. Now, so some you guys might say, well, gee, that's not fair. I don't care. I'm calling it just like this. Women's sports on that for state championships is going to be a woman champion.
I wouldn't care if my daughter got beat on the podium. I mean, think about it. Competitive sports are built on biological advantages. That is the only argument against trans girls playing and winning is biological advantages. Like Michael Phelps has a 6'7" wingspan and size 14 shoes, and his ankles bend at 15 degrees more than the average person. They work like flippers. Tiger Woods has 28 vision. 28. Like, I could go on and on.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we can.
Biological advantages exist on every single team. It's just a fact of sports.
Yeah, yep. And I'm gonna say it again. As a parent, as a person who myself has been competitive his entire life, and then was a parent that was competitive with his children. The hard work that was put into my sons, it was football, of course, state champions. I could not imagine training my daughter. She's doing her thing, getting busy, and then down at the state championships when it's her chance, once in a lifetime. And by the way, do you remember being a state champion forever? You sure do. You sure do.
Yes.
For everybody, I'm telling you, when you're a state champion, you think about that for the rest of your life. I'd almost argue it's better than the day you get married. But if I had that opportunity, and our daughter's about to get there, and she has that opportunity, and it gets beat, I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me. I ain't speaking for nobody else.
Yeah.
Me.
No, I hear
mad.
that. And I'll just conclude by saying, yes, I hear everything you're saying. I understand how people are feeling. And let's just boo the people. If we have an issue, let's boo the people making the decisions. I mean, you look at members of the LGBTQ community, transgender people, and high degree of suicide. There's already a lot they're dealing with. So let's take out that frustration where it should be on the adults. And I think we can come up with a solution that works so that you don't have people feeling like something was stolen,
Okay. We got a lot to talk about. But up next, Bob Ferguson is sued over clergy reporting law. We'd love to hear what you all think about that. We'll do that next. Gee and Ursula with Angela.
You listen to The John Curley Show every afternoon. What does John listen to every morning?
I listen to Charlie and Manda, get my pot of coffee going, then turn on Seattle's Morning News, and I begin to build my show that way. And you want straight news without opinion, just giving it to you with the facts. There's only one place to go, Seattle's Morning News.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute. Seattle's Morning News and The John Curley Show on KIRO Newsradio. Download the KIRO Newsradio app to listen anytime.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp, owner of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp, I am amazed at the brightness and the clarity that I didn't even realize I'd lost before I had my procedure. How's that even possible?
A lot of people don't realize that. As you get older, the lens not only is less flexible, but it gets less transparent. And gradually, even in our 40s, 50s, 60s, the lens variety does get less transparent. So you get more glare at night, more halos, loss of contrast sensitivity, loss of some color vision or decreased color vision.
Exactly what I was seeing.
And so when we replace that lens that gets cloudier and cloudier with a crystal clear lens, all of the light gets through, all of the clarity, all the brightness, all the colors. And again, with the multifocal lenses that we have, it's sort of like a bifocal built in, so you can see near and far.
Give the folks at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens a call at 425-451-2020 or online at sharp-vision.com. Sharp with an E-vision.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A search is underway for 3 sisters, ages 9, 8, and 5, last seen Friday in Wenatchee. The State Patrol believes they're with their 32-year-old father, but that it's a dangerous situation. He's homeless and has been living on and off in hotels, campgrounds, and in his car. We've put their photos up at mynorthwest.com. Call 911 if you see them. A King County Sheriff's deputy faces sexual misconduct and rape charges involving a teenager. Casey McNerthney with the King County Prosecutor's Office.
The allegations are that this deputy, who's now on administrative leave, had improper sexual relations with
a victim who was 17 at the time.
Deputy Ricardo Arturo Cueva was 32 at the time. The girl was in the Police Explorers program, and he was the group leader. His bail set at $150,000. The man accused of throwing Molotov cocktails, injuring 8 people in Boulder, Colorado, makes his first court appearance today. The victims were marching in support of Israeli hostages taken by Hamas. Jonathan Greenblatt heads the Anti-Defamation League.
My first concern is for the 8 victims of this firebombing. We understand these people in their mid-50s to their late 80s, one of whom is a Holocaust survivor.
The suspect is a 45-year-old Egyptian national heard yelling, "Free Palestine," during the attack. Ukraine strikes deep into the heart of Russia with a daring drone attack.
Bomber after Russian bomber blown to pieces in explosion after explosion in Ukraine's Operation Spider's Web, targeting 5 Russian air bases across the country. The closest, about 300 miles from the war's front line. The furthest, more than 3,700 miles away in Russia's Far East.
CBS's Remy Inocencio says the more than 100 drones had been smuggled into Russia. President Trump is expected to talk tariffs on the phone this week with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Usually when the United States and the Chinese leaders talk, there's a formal request for that. Doesn't sound necessarily like we're near that, despite what the president and his top officials are hoping for.
The trade war is blamed for a 25% reduction in cargo traffic at the Port of Seattle this year compared to this time last year. On Wall Street, the Dow is down over China trade concerns. The Dow off 213 points right now, NASDAQ up 40. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Marysville, State Route 529 southbound is closed for bridge repair. I-5 is bearing the brunt of that. It's still backed up nearly to State Route 531. Travel time Arlington to Everett, 49 minutes. That's a 36-minute delay. Federal Way to Seattle will take you 50 minutes right now, not quite 10 more than usual. Renton to Bellevue, 42, about 10 overall. So Everett to Seattle, half an hour, right on target. Traffic brought to you by FRS Clipper. Get away to beautiful Victoria, BC in the FRS Clipper Fast Ferry this summer. Save with overnight and travel packages. Book at frsclipper.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny today with highs around 70. It's 57 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell is in for Ursula. Always good to have Angela here. The Catholic Church is now pushing back in court against a new Washington law that makes clergy mandatory reporters. A group of Catholic bishops and priests have filed a lawsuit challenging this legislation, which is aimed at preventing or stopping child abuse. The law even applies if the information surfaces in confession. Ryan Colby, the director of communications for the Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty, says the law is forcing priests to choose between their faith and the law. He says the seal of confession, a sacred promise to keep confessions 100% confidential, is a tradition going back 2,000 years, and breaking it means automatic excommunication. Washington lawmakers who advocated for this argued that religious liberties should not apply to cases where a child's safety is on the line. The Archdiocese of Seattle said a meeting requested by the bishops of the state of Washington with the governor was ignored. Angela, love to hear your thoughts on this topic right here.
Ooh, I have to tell you, this one has been really tough for me because, you know, when it first came up in the legislature, I started debating this and what is the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. And because I have such a deep respect for having religious freedom and being able to live your faith. Okay. So that really matters to me. Okay. And at the same time, protect kids at all cost. Okay. And if you are aware of a kid who is being abused, I believe you have an obligation to do something and intervene. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, I think that this law moves us in the right direction. And that's where I'm going to have to fall. I also think it's interesting, and I didn't realize this, that most states actually, it says that Washington was one of 5 states in the country that didn't list clergy as mandatory reporters. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, there's a big lawsuit here for the state, but it seems to be a trend around the country to make clergy, mandatory reporters.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they were drawing a distinction between the confession. I'm not sure. Here's the other piece that I wanted to investigate. Because, let me just ask this question to you and to all of you listening. If the whole idea of confession was in the Bible, like specifically the way they do it, like the Bible, I know, says confess your sins one to another, but in terms of the process of how Catholic confession works, that's not laid out in the Bible specifically, but it is part of doctrine as I humbly understand it. Mm-hmm. So my question is, if this specific practice were in the Bible and part of a religion that so many people are part of, would that change it for you? Because I think some people say, look, this isn't even in the Bible. This is kind of a tradition that they've had that goes back thousands of years, but it's not a thing that's adopted by the entire Christian faith. Would that change it for you?
No, it wouldn't change it for me. And this is a very, very easy topic for me. And when we're talking about tradition, or we're talking about how this has been dating back 2,000 years, I want to ask this question of everyone. What is the reason why the Catholic Church has dealt with so many sexual abuse allegations? For decades, in the United States alone, more than 6,000 priests have been credibly accused of child sexual abuse. These abuse claims have led to thousands of clergy abuse lawsuits, settlements, payouts. This isn't an opinion. This is fact. In total, the Catholic Church has paid more than $3 billion to abuse survivors. So this isn't a matter of tradition or how things have always been, because when I see that and I hear that excuse, then I automatically go to, well, then tell me why this happened. Why did 6,000 Catholic priests be in this situation? So you mean to tell me I'm supposed to say, no, because they will be excommunicated and the confession should be 100%. No, you lost that. You lost that privilege. Sorry, you lost that. And how you talked about this earlier, you said it to me too. You said to us, ask companies and organizations about their policies to prevent abuse. Isn't that what you said this morning?
That's what I said.
Okay. So if this happened in the past, how can you guarantee this won't be happening in large numbers again?
Yeah. I mean, they have put in a bunch of policies to try to prevent. Why are you looking surprised? The Catholic Church has definitely made steps to try to be better. But advocating and suing the state because of this confessional piece does raise that. I mean, I was reading their lawsuit, and they make some arguments that I think I think they're decent arguments that should be considered. But for me, the bottom line, it doesn't change. If I know that someone just shared with me that this is what they're doing, it needs to be reported.
Plus, there's all kinds of religious doctrine and teachings that violate the law that we don't allow. Like polygamy is allowed in Islam, in Mormon teachings, and I don't see that being practiced widely. Like faith healing and rejection of modern medicine. Some kid gets a curable disease and they die. The parents are prosecuted. Like that. This is just the way it works.
Good stuff, Angela. Coming up next, we do need to talk. Who's getting blown past by the assumption that everyone is adopting every new technology? We'll do that next. Angela, pull Russell in for Ursula. It's Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one, and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage. The VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
KIRO Newsradio is teaming up with Global Credit Union to support our veterans with the Invest in Our Veterans program. For more than 75 years, Global Credit Union has been committed to our military communities and to organizations that back our military and their families. Do you know a nonprofit serving our heroes that could use additional funding? Head to mynorthwest.com/veterans to nominate an organization to receive $1,000 to support their mission. Let's invest in our veterans. Go to mynorthwest.com/veterans.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, everybody. Angela Poe Russell is in for Ursula. We need to talk, and Angela, you got something for us to talk about.
Yes, technology is supposed to make our lives easier, right? In some cases, it's done that. But how are you feeling about this? Have you noticed everywhere you go these days, people want you to just use a QR code. They want you to text message this number if you want this. Oh, if you want this, you'll need to go into my chart. You'll need to go. I mean, all of these things that make us take this extra step. And one thing sadly, in the last year and a half, 2 years, I've dealt with 2 people in my family having vision issues. My youngest daughter, vision issue, like major, like not being able to drive, major, and the same thing with my mom, major. And so now as I navigate the world, I'm like, we are making things impossible for so many people. Let's just say you're elderly and your eyes are just bad. But then forcing people to go to the QR code and text. My mom calls me so frustrated sometimes, but just trying to navigate this world that we are living in. And I'm all about making things easier, but this is why we have the diversity, equity, inclusion, that word that people hate. Because when an organization plans things, they can say, does this system work for everybody? Have we thought about the scenarios? A person who can't, walk this way. Now, I know you'll say there's obviously the Americans with Disabilities Act, but that's very different than just the daily thing of having to text this and QR code this. And it's been a lot.
Yeah. I hate it, and I just can't really talk about it because I don't want people to call me boomer. Yeah, I really do. Let me give specific places. When I go to a restaurant, listen, y'all. Listen,
bring me the freaking menu.
Just give me the menu, y'all.
The menu's fine.
Give me the menu. Please. If you want to have QR codes on the table, that's great. That's awesome. Just give me the menu, please. 2, organizations that I deal with, nonprofits, you have your galas and your events, and when you're like, hey, we're going to do the silent auction, but we're going to make people go on their phones and do people want the old school method of the silent auction, being able to go and do it. They don't want to. As a matter of fact, them going to their phones takes away from your event, because now when they go to the phone, there's a text message from their daughter and she has questions about instructions that you left for them, and then all of a sudden you're pulled away, you're handling daughter stuff, and then all of a sudden you're pulled away for 5 to 10 minutes, and oh, where was I? And before you know it, the silent auction is almost closed. Stay away from that. So again, I don't want to be the boomer, and you guys can call it to me. Just some situations, it just takes away.
Yeah, Gee, you just hit the nail on the head. I was at an art gallery, and Myron Curry's art, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I was just blown away. But to find out the price, you had to use the QR code. And so I'm just curious, like, could I afford this?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm on a website and I'm scrolling, and to your point, I'm taken out of the experience. If I'm in I went whitewater rafting this past weekend, and thank God we had paper menus. But if I had to go on a QR code, I would have missed my beautiful view of the river. Because I went to a restaurant after the rafting, and it was on a river. Yeah. And I'm saying a QR code, to your point, takes you out of the experience. And so for me, I don't even think it's a boomer issue, because we know how to use them. Like, that's not the issue. It's that I want to be right here, right now. And if there's a way that you can just give me the information that's in front of me, then just because you can Doesn't mean you should with the technology. I'll put it that way.
So yeah, I do think now. Sometimes I understand what you're trying to do. At Seahawk games in Lumen Field, there are times when I'll have stuff where like, hey, everybody, look at the jumbotron at the screens, and you'll see there's a QR code for you to be able to donate and all that.
Totally.
Okay, I get that.
Yep.
It makes it real easy. And by the way, the lettering is really big. You can't miss that font. But again, I understand those things, and like I know we're getting into technology and things are starting to change, and no doubt. But just I think you need to really pick and choose and make sure, is this technology good for the people involved in it? If the answer is no, then try to find out some way to get people involved without it.
You guys bring up really interesting points because, it strikes me that, on our ballots, it's printed in every conceivable language that's spoken in Washington state. We have all kinds of laws about equal access for those with disabilities, whether, you're hearing impaired, vision impaired, mobility impaired, whatever that is. But what about people that are technology impaired? Because, like, to your point, there's a lot of old people who can't navigate their way to make a doctor's appointment.
Oh, yeah, we're making...
Because of the technology, and that's wildly unfair.
My mom will spend hours just trying to navigate something simple because of vision, and how everyone's like, push you to the website, push you to the app. And I always say we need nonprofits that will just, like, where you have volunteers just go help older people out. Like, hey, call a teenager, he'll come to your home and help you get through it.
Good stuff. Hey, the 10 o'clock hour is already here, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Here's a couple of them. Can you still be a responsible dad while not having a place to call home? Also, the city of Tacoma puts a pause on a new police chief. We talk about that and more. Gee and Ursula with Angela Poe Russell.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
Well, you're getting ready every morning. Make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
I just learned 10% of our electricity in Washington comes from nuclear energy.
I've heard it's reliable and has a small footprint, but what about the waste?
It's not what you might think. No overflowing dumpsters or leaking barrels. Used fuel is safely stored in solid form after powering homes, schools, and businesses for years. All nuclear power plants in the U.S. store their used fuel responsibly to protect the environment.
Where can I learn more?
You can learn about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com. Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
The 20% small business tax deduction has helped small businesses grow, hire, and invest. But unless Congress acts, the deduction will end this year, and Washington's small businesses will be hit with a massive tax hike. Representative Dan Newhouse just voted to protect over 33 million small businesses from this massive tax hike. Visit smallbusinessdeduction.com and thank him for supporting Washington's small businesses. Paid for by the National Federation of Independent Business.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/ pickleball.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news.
A minimum wage increase proposal is moving forward in unincorporated King County.
KIRO News Radio.
Spike O'Neill here. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens gave me back the perfect vision I had up until a few years ago. Now, never need glasses again. Never developed cataracts. Been about 6 months since my RLE surgery. My vision is better than it's ever been in my life. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens, privately owned, no corporate shareholders or boardrooms. Dr. Sharp built his business on the principle of always strive to overaccomplish, never overprice. Call 425-451-2020 or go online to sharp-vision.com. That's sharp-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
Well, this is pretty fun for me. Normally, Shannon O'Kelly and I are talking physical therapy, but today we are talking First Mark Insurance. You made the call to First Mark. You took the challenge. Why?
Brock, I was looking for a local agency that I could align with similar values, and they've helped us here at IRG. They shop different plans. They find the best plan for you, the best price, the best coverage, great customer service, and great connectivity.
Did they save you any money along the way?
Absolutely, they saved us money. Obviously, here at IRG, I have several needs in the insurance industry, and they look at those needs A to Z, and they find out what kind of coverage you need, what is the best coverage, at what cost, and they're always looking to save money. And again, it's all about providing my company, IRG, great customer service.
Well, Shannon and IRG, they took the challenge. Molly and I, we took the challenge. Are you confident that your business is getting the very best when it comes to your insurance needs? If not, take the First Mark Challenge today, and it's totally free. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com, your teammate that goes to work for you. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at amazonbusiness.com.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Through June, save $750 per window and $1,500 per door with leak armor installation only from Lake Washington Windows. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump says his heart goes out to the victims of yesterday's attack in Boulder, Colorado. In an online post, he blames it on Biden border policy. The man facing charges is an Egyptian national who Homeland Security says is in the country illegally.
We know that he will appear in court today. Right now, the FBI has joined this investigation, working to confirm that this individual acted alone. All indications as of this moment that he did.
CBS's Nicole Skanga.
Authorities also going through a full forensic scrub of the suspect, checking social media, looking into his previous posts and statements that led up to this event. Of course, a lot of makings of an anti-Semitic attack.
It happened at an event that called for the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza. The man in custody is accused of using a makeshift flamethrower to injure 8 people. The White House says President Trump will speak at some point soon with China's president. CBS's Ed O'Keefe says trade and tariffs are the big talking points.
Usually when the United States and the Chinese leaders talk, there's a formal request for that. Doesn't sound necessarily like we're near that, despite what the president and his top officials are hoping for.
Well, this week, the Senate's taking up the Trump budget bill. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns reports there are some Republicans who want key changes.
Josh Hawley, a very conservative Republican from the state of Missouri, and he has been sounding the alarm bells about these potential cuts to Medicaid, especially the impact that it could have on rural hospitals in his state.
Pamela Hemphill is working through her Republican senator in Idaho to block the pardon she was given by President Trump. CBS's Scott McFarland says she played a role in the Capitol attack and was convicted of a misdemeanor.
She says the pardon sent a dangerous message moving forward that could incentivize more political violence.
Officials from Russia and Ukraine met for about an hour today in Turkey, agreeing on a swap of thousands of soldiers killed in the war. CBS's Ramy Inocencio says it comes a day after Ukraine used drones to destroy an estimated 1/3 of Russia's strategic bombers.
Volodymyr Zelensky is coming across as pretty proud on this. On Telegram, he said that these attacks will be one for the history textbook.
On the stand for a third day at the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial, a former personal assistant testified she was brainwashed to explain loving texts she sent him after he allegedly raped her. Checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 144. The S&P is trading higher. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
11 stabbed at a Northwest homeless shelter. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Edmonds, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at State Route 104. You're backed up into Mount Lake Terrace. Travel time Linwood to Seattle, 24 minutes, 7 longer than and growing. Your big challenge continues to be in Marysville, where State Route 529 southbound is closed for bridge repair. I-5 is backed up to 136th Street Northeast. Travel time Arlington to Everett, 39 minutes, a 26-minute delay there. Traffic brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Gunfire erupts during an early morning argument in Seattle. Police say it happened at a homeless camp. A 41-year-old man was shot in the leg. He is expected to recover. The gunman is still on the loose. Police in Salem, Oregon say they arrested a man who stabbed 11 people at a Union Gospel Mission shelter last night. First responders say there are varying degrees of injuries. No word on what prompted the attack. Police say a knife-wielding man stabbed a rideshare driver as the driver took a break in the parking lot of an Everett restaurant. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss spoke with the man's son.
He heard the guy say, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead," and started slicing him.
Any idea what may have provoked this?
I have no idea.
The man drove off in his dad's car. Police arrested the suspect at a Linwood Costco a short time later. A new program starts today to improve safety in Seattle's Chinatown International District. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more on the Community Ambassador Program.
Seattle Deputy Mayor Greg Wong says their main goal is de-escalation.
They'll be engaging primarily with the folks who are congregating in areas who may not have other things to do. And as appropriate, they may call in Seattle police or law enforcement if that's necessary.
And he tells us that they modeled this program after similar ones that have already been successful in both downtown Seattle and Ballard already.
A 6-year-old girl is recovering after she was struck while walking with her mom in a crosswalk in Seattle's Central District yesterday. This witness tells KIRO 7 TV the child was tossed into the air.
The kid's coming this way, just boom, hit her from this crosswalk to that crosswalk. She was in the middle of this one. She sprawled out.
The girl suffered no severe injuries. The driver cooperated with police and was not arrested. Officers say they found no signs of impairment. There was construction in the area. The Mariners took 2 of 3 games in their series against the Minnesota Twins. M's catcher Cal Raleigh continuing his hot streak.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, crushed, right field. It's on its way. Goodbye.
Mariners get the day off today. The team remains at home and begins a 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles tomorrow. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies with highs around 70. It's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Monday, June 2nd. And Angela, it is not the halfway point of 2025. Angela Poe Russell is here. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, G.
Yeah. What's this? What kind of plays you been up to lately? You know, you get me into the theater. And by the way, I feel a lot more sophisticated since taking on theater.
I know. We have to go see The Color Purple at Village Theater.
I know.
I just saw Golden Act Theater. You know, my thing is coming up. I have a reading for the musical I've been working on Friday, June 13th at Seattle Public Theater. Have you been to a reading before? You've probably never been to a reading.
No.
It's one of the first steps in the process of a musical. You hear the music and hear the script without the costumes and all that. Yeah.
You've been working hard. This is why
I've been working hard.
This is why it's hard for me to, if I text you, I get a text back like 24 or 48 hours later.
You're bitter about it.
Yeah.
Not that he's bitter at all.
All right. Like we always do at this time, really appreciate you guys hanging out on the show. The text line is 888-973-5476. And also, shout out to everybody that's on our YouTube channel. Always good to have you there. Let's get to it.
What's new at 10?
One of the reasons why you are hearing about some either delaying having kids or just flat out not having kids is because the cost of childcare. Right now in Washington State, childcare prices are reaching an all-time high, with infant care eating up more than half of a single parent's median income. Now, if you're listening right now, how much do you think for infant care do you think it would be per year? I'll tell you. $21,348 a year, which is also more than double the in-state tuition for universities. It is no joking matter at all. This is what happens. Angela?
I'm sorry, can you say that last part again?
No, I'm saying this is no laughing matter at all, but this has really gotten tough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The child care piece, I mean, I don't know how else to put it except to say that we are in crisis. We are in crisis because people can barely afford groceries right now. They can barely afford rent. We've got that. So there's all this pressure on families. And, paychecks aren't keeping up with the cost of childcare. So, yeah, it's a major issue. So one thing that we did when I was coming up is we got an au pair. Now, G has always joked, Chef, and he goes, ta-ta, you had an au pair. But the au pair was cheaper. It was cheaper because at that point, this was more than 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was already paying $20 an hour for babysitters. So the au pair, you pay like a one-time fee, and then you pay $175 a week. Today, an au pair will cost you $200 a week. You do have the upfront program fee, but once it's paid, it's paid. Mm-hmm. So it all equals out to where it's cheaper than this. And you just mentioned the cost of one kid.
Right.
You mentioned the cost of one kid. And then while we're doing this, we're saying, why aren't people having more kids? We don't even have a house.
Can I look, I know that there are times, Angela, that people get on me. This is because I have the narrative is G always loves to give people money, right? That's kind of.
I would love to get to know that narrative.
Okay. But I wanna ask this. What is the fix? What is the fix? Because remember, there was a time when you guys remember when Joe Manchin, remember he was one of the deciding factors, the reason why the federal government stopped with the child care credit. I mean, the Democrats tried to get this going on a federal level, and it was denied. They lost that. So my thing is this. If you're saying no, and by the way, the state of Washington is the second most expensive state in the country. If you all are saying no to this, no to help with infant care of being $21,000 a year, then what is the fix? I'm being real serious
JD Vance
about
said
this.
grandmas were just going to have to step up. Okay, I was being sarcastic. That was not good. It was not fair in a debate.
Because my fix is help from the federal government.
I'm going to tell you the solution. I actually think it is in the public interest for us to have good childcare. It enables people to be better workers. It enables us to have healthier children. And so if we look at all the things that the government spends money on, I feel like having those grants to help people, to help fill in the gap. So I know some of you listening, you're like, we don't need any more taxes. And I totally get it. I'm just saying, if we look at the pie of money being doled out, don't you think that our workforce would be better, our kids would be healthier if everyone had access to good childcare? We know that most brain development happens between 0 and 8. If you have a ton of negative experiences early, it really impacts you later. So, and I also think it has to solve the worker crisis, because right now, I heard someone in the newsroom say folks can go work at a restaurant and make more money than they can taking care of a 3-year-old. Yeah. Taking care of a 3. So I think it is, I'm with you. I think the government has to be part of the solution.
And by the way, and I want to say this about the state of Washington, because I've made mention that right now the state of Washington is the second most expensive state in the country when it comes to child care, for infant care and everything. One of the reasons as to that is because there has been an increase in salaries of those that do work within child care. That which is a good thing, which I'm not.
It's just not enough. It's just not even, it's still a joke.
Right. And by the way, we have a higher minimum wage. I'm just trying to give you all some of the reasons as to why this is happening. But you all know housing affordability, everything else. All right, Angela, what else you got for us?
Okay, we have another story here I want to talk about. Tacoma. So, they've been searching for a new police chief. Well, that search is on hold.
What they tell?
In a statement, the city manager says it's due to the upcoming change in the city manager position, and they want to make sure that person plays a role in the search process. But we have to point out, they did mention in the statement, and I think anecdotally we say it's true, it says a lot about the interim chief. The interim chief, Patty Jackson, been there since earlier this year holding it down. She left the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, has over 30 years of experience in law enforcement. She has all kinds of accolades, awards, ran for Pierce County Sheriff. So to me, it says they're in a good spot, and I mean, good for her.
First name Patty, last name Jackson. Patty Jackson is the truth with an F. People love working for Patty Jackson. Pierce County, I love y'all. Hey, Pierce County, we dropped the ball when we did not elect Patty Jackson as sheriff. Now you see what we are left with. You see what we got now. You have a sheriff that doesn't want to play nice in Pierce County, a sheriff that will be a continued distraction with everything that's going on. The reason why Tacoma, and by the way, I'm not shocked. The reason why the city of Tacoma said, hey, Patty Jackson, you're interim to start, and then things been going, and then the city of Tacoma said, well, wait a minute now. I think we got the person. I'm not saying that she has been hired yet, but let's put this search on pause.
We're not in a rush. We're not in a rush.
This is no different than when somebody is single, they go on a date with somebody, they go on a few dates with somebody, and they're not in a relationship yet, but they have put their dating on pause, on hold, because they think they found the one. And I'm telling you right now, Tacoma, you found the right one, baby. Patty Jackson. First name Patty, last name Jackson.
Why do they love working with her so much? What have you heard?
Because she gets it. People. You see, a lot of times there are a lot of know-it-alls and people that know, well, I know this and I should be the manager and I should be the boss and I know this and I'm so smart and I'm all these things. Patty Jackson can come in here right now and have a straight conversation with us, relatable, right? Leader. She's a leader, right? And by the way, there's not a lot of leaders that are in position. And the reason why Patty Jackson, because she is a leader, she's been in the game for 30 plus years. And she just understands how to do it. By the way, it's no different than coaching. coaching in sports, you wonder why you have some coaches that are better than others. Because the one coach is a damn know-it-all. The other coach knows how to be relatable with the people, knows how to lead, and guess what? Those that follow a crowd can never be followed by a crowd. There's a lot of leaders that just follow in crowds.
All right, you're not passionate about that at all. Okay.
I love you.
First name Patty, last name Jackson.
Hey,
Don't forget that.
Patty, last name Jackson.
Okay, well, let's get to this next story because it is going to provide us with context for the question that we asked earlier. Here it is. We have 3 young sisters last seen with their biological dad for visitation. They're still missing. They were last seen in Wenatchee Friday evening. According to KIRO 7, their 32-year-old father is homeless and living in his vehicle, various hotels and motels and at campgrounds. The girls went missing after a planned visitation with him. He's driving a white GMC Sierra pickup. All of his daughters are under the age of 9. 2 of them are blonde. 1 has brown hair. At mynorthwest.com, we have pictures and more detailed descriptions. So this led us, Chef G, myself, to have this discussion about, because some were surprised that, you could have visitation while you are in between having a house or homeless, however you describe it. And you had some perspective on that maybe everyone doesn't have.
First, let's all pray for the return and safety of those kids. I truly hope that they are okay. I hope the kids are okay. I hope the father, I hope everybody is okay. That is a very scary situation. Now, it is what has happened, like you said, it is leading to the discussion of parents, if they don't have stable living, if they should still be able to get their weekend, if you will. I'll raise my hand. As you all know, you guys know at a point in time, I did live in my car, right? Yes. You guys know, you do the timeline. You know that my kids were a certain age during that time. Yes, there were times that on that weekend, Angela, that I would get my kids. Because at this point, I was just getting my kids every other weekend. I would pick them up on that Friday and then bring them back on that Sunday. When that time would happen, I would go and stay at a couple different houses where I would go stay at. My point is this. As someone who really has firsthand information, should you deny a parent from seeing their kids if they don't have stable housing? And the answer is no. You should not deny that. I could only imagine if they would have denied me being able to see my kids during that time when I was struggling looking for housing.
Thank you for sharing that. I see it a little bit differently.
Okay, come on.
And I like the fact that you went and stayed, you found places to stay when you had your kids. I think that's awesome. The thing I think about is the risk it could pose for the kids, depending on who their parent is and the houses they end up showing up to and the harm that could be caused just by who they're around, depending on the environment. Mm-hmm. So my edit for this, in my opinion, is I would need to know a little bit more about the parent, and those caseworkers should have that. Is there a history of drug abuse at all? Is there a history of, all kinds of things? Are there any allegations of abuse? And I would probably advocate for maybe more day visits, depending on what that is, like having that time, because I think the time together is important. Mm-hmm. And having a rough financial situation shouldn't keep you from having a child. I'm just thinking that not everybody is G, and so how do we put guardrails up?
Well, I'm glad you said not everybody is G, and one of the things that I would say, I did not raise red flags or alarm because nobody knew. Nobody knew what I was going through. Now, I'll say this. The mother of my kids, if she would have known that I was in that situation and I told her, hey, I was in a bind, right, where I can't go and get them, you know what I mean? She would have just kept the kids.
Yeah, because you don't know where they're going to be. Right.
I would not put them in that in an unsafe situation. But I want to go back to what you just said, that, hey, well, I need to know if there was any history of drug abuse, right? Because That's a big deal, right? That's a very fair question. I didn't have that. I had an eating addiction, but I didn't have the drug. You know what I mean? I had a drug addiction. So this is a very, it's a complex topic, and one that I don't think anyone can make a sweeping statement on when it comes to this, saying that this parent that doesn't have the stable housing can't see their kids, or this parent can or cannot.
I'm very progressive, as you know, and even I would have a hard time saying overnight visits. Like, kids need safety. Like, can you guarantee that if you're sleeping in the car, or in a tent that has no walls, those kids are going to be safe at night? It's not like a camping trip, if you're homeless in a city. That's a really tough one. Gee, did your kids know what was going on at that time?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But there was one particular time I was still in the transition point of time. This happened after I got some stable living, and I'm getting ready to go get some more stable living. My son, Baby G, tells this story about the time. He remembers this forever. It was when he got dressed for school in the back of a U-Haul. Yeah. That story is more of a funny story. That wasn't sad. But Angela, I'll say this to you and Chef. Because that embarrassment of knowing my situation and nobody knew, and I would go and drop my kids off, I want to tell you this. It continued to light a fire under me. I wanted to fix my situation because I knew, nobody else knew, I knew that as I'm taking my kids back, that their dad does not have stable living, right? So it motivated me to want to be better. As a matter of fact, sometimes that says sometimes people don't have individuals in their lives to motivate them to be better. I was lucky to have kids that I wanted to be better for.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, in this case in Washington, they were allowing the visits, knowing he was homeless, and allowing the overnights. And now these girls are missing. And, we have, for those of you who've been living here a while, we've had some horror stories. And I really do, I advocate for parents having rights to see their kids. And sometimes I am frustrated by the system that continues to allow or put kids in situations. I guess what I do is I wonder if there were any signs from this dad that he could do something like this, and we just ignore them.
Can I amend myself? I want to amend something.
Yeah, please.
I
can always amend.
I need to amend because you said something, and my case is nobody knew. I hid it.
Yeah.
Which is not great, but I did. Pride was the reason. But if a parent knowingly lives in their car, there needs to be some type of plan of where the location is, if you've told it, then we need to know where those kids are going to be staying. What's the address? Where are they going to be staying? I think every parent, if they're living in their car, they should have to give that up. I want to admit
it's kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
That this case, all right, we'll keep you updated. You go to mynorthwest.com for more detailed descriptions.
We have scenarios happening at 10:47, but up next, check this out, y'all. When's the last time you've been to a bachelorette party? Well, right now, Angela, there is a bachelorette industrial complex. Woo! We'll talk about it next. Gee and Ursula with Angela.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
The first place you turn to for breaking news.
Protest outside City Hall.
KIRO News Radio.
James Lynch begins our team coverage live at City Hall.
Now, we are told by SPD that 4 people have been arrested for assault. For more on the counter-protesters, we go to Scott Carty.
See a group of another 10 officers come down the steps.
Closures now extended from Washington closer to the stadiums.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, and download the KIRO News Radio app to listen anytime.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Charlie Harder here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
If you've been thinking about surgery or even joint replacement, here's something to consider. Hi, it's Dave Ross. I've talked to over 100 patients of Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, and many of them have told me about life-changing results. Their words, after treatment at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. These are people with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, and they're back to hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, walking up and down stairs, playing with the kids and the grandkids, and they're doing it without pain and without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, and because they're your own stem cells, they can help regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician. He has over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So, listen to his patients, and remember, whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before you choose surgery, first see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible post-game show on Friday, June 13th, presented by T-Mobile, after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Strong play call. Triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a patriotic palooza on July 3rd and an 80s show on July 18th. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, including a Father's Day socks giveaway Sunday, June 15th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Have you heard the saying, chuck in a truck? The guy running a roofing company out of his messy pickup? Well, here's the scary part. Washington doesn't require a test or experience to be a licensed roofer, and they definitely don't require a brick and mortar location. Chuck could be working out of his apartment with 0 employees, hiring random guys off the street. Yikes. And the SBA says 90% of roofers are out of business within 5 years. Jim here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we do things right. We have a real location on Central Avenue in Kent and a team of 50 full-time roofing pros who actually know what they're doing. We're not some fly-by-night outfit. We've put down roots, or in our case, a cement foundation, so you'll always know where to find us. No disappearing acts, no cut corners, just top-quality work from people you can trust. That's RoofSmart. Come see for yourself, or call us at 206-487-4877, or visit us online at GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today for a free in-home estimate. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
You know that cartoon of the three-eyed fish swimming in polluted water next to a nuclear power plant?
Yeah, classic.
I used to think that was real, but I just learned that nuclear energy waste isn't some glowing green goo. It's actually used fuel rods from nuclear reactors that made electricity.
Wait, so no barrels of leaking sludge?
No, solid used fuel rods are safely stored at all the nuclear power plants in the U.S., including the one in Richland.
So the cartoon fish isn't real?
Not even close. Learn the facts about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Bail is set at $5 million for a federal way father in the death of his 5-year-old daughter. Court documents reveal the 29-year-old man physically abused the child until she lost consciousness at their apartment and died last week. The State Patrol is searching for 3 young sisters. As KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports, troopers are also looking for the girl's dad.
Wenatchee police say the 3 girls were last seen Friday as they left home for a planned visit with their dad. They are 5, 8, and 9 years old. The father, Travis Decker, is homeless and reportedly lives out of his white GMC Sierra pickup, local campgrounds, and various hotels. Police believe those 3 girls are in danger. If you see them, Decker or his truck, call 911 right away.
And we have put the girls and their father's photos up at mynorthwest.com. Chaos in Boulder, Colorado.
He's right there. He's throwing Molotov cocktails right there.
Video posted on social media proposed to show the arrest of a 45-year-old Egyptian national whom witnesses say threw Molotov cocktails at a group of people marching in support of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. 8 people were injured. The suspect is expected to make his first court appearance today. In Gaza, at least 31 people died in a large crowd that was on their way to try and get food aid. Witnesses say Israeli troops fired on them. Israeli forces say armed masked men looking to grab the aid themselves fired on the crowd. Ukraine launches more than 100 drones to attack 5 air bases within Russia. CBS's Ramy Inocencio on how Ukraine pulled it off.
More than 100 FPV, or first-person view drones, were hidden in the roofs of containers smuggled into the country. The roofs, retractable, opened remotely, mere miles from each base, making it one for the history books, said Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. A brilliant operation was carried out, he said, and the people who helped us are safe, extracted from Russia before the operation.
President Trump is expected to talk tariffs on the phone with Chinese leader Xi Jinping this week. The trade war is blamed for a 25% reduction in cargo traffic at the Port of Seattle this year compared to this time last year. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 192 points. NASDAQ is up 57. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Edmonds, a crash is blocking an on-ramp, but the lane is back open after a crash on I-5 southbound at State Route 104. You're still backed up into Mount Lake Terrace. Travel time Linwood to Seattle, 37 minutes, 22 longer than usual. Your big challenge remains up in Marysville, where State Route 529 southbound is closed for bridge repair. I-5 is backed up to 136th Street Northeast. Travel time Arlington to Everett, 33 minutes. That's a 20-minute delay there. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning. We got scenarios. Yep, that'll be happening coming up in about 11 minutes or so. But right now, why is everything such a big deal these days? Case in point, the wedding. It might be still months away, but for some of the brides, the real main event is the bachelorette party. And it's no longer just a night out with the sashes and the sashes and bubbly and all that. According to Business Insider, it's now a booming industry fueled by balloon arches that say, same man forever, disco ball themed everything, and yes, different types of straws in every color. Landmine by Chef. One couple from the East Coast started selling bachelorette merch out of their garage in 2018. They were just hoping to make a little bit of extra money to stay at home with the kids. Fast forward, They both quit their jobs, Angela's. They run a full-time business and have filled more than 150,000 Etsy orders, and that's just one stop. All it makes you wonder, when did every part of life start becoming a massive performance and production? Angela, as someone who is in the theater scene, around productions, with the reading that's happening on June 13th, I really want to know what you got to say about this.
It is the classic keeping up with the Joneses,
okay,
but on steroids because we have social media. I mean, I think that's always been there. You see someone do something cool and you're like, oh, I think I want to do that too. Mm-hmm. Well, now we can see what everybody's doing. And we have smart marketing folks that are like, hey, we can make this happen. Mm-hmm. And I'll just give you an example. So moving my daughter to college for the first time, she had this whole like Pinterest and Etsy of what her dorm should look like, right? And so I'm thinking, oh, this is really cool that she's getting all into it. And then you get to college for move-in day and realize that everyone has the same thing. Everyone has the fuzzy chair and everyone has the light up thing on the wall. And you realize you were just the victim of a system. Like you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Once they figure out you're going to college, they start marketing to you all these things you should buy. And I think it's the same for the bride-to-be and the wedding party. Once they know you're getting married, you've posted your mini movie of getting engaged. You posted your.
I can't stand the movie.
Okay, so we have
because it's not real.
So let me just go. So you have the mini movie getting engaged.
Yep.
Then you have your Insta-worthy bachelorette party.
Yep.
Then you have a baby and you do an epic social media gender reveal.
Yep.
I mean, and now people are doing these elaborate college acceptances.
Yep.
Like it's no longer just, oh, I'm going. Now it's like, here's them opening the envelope and music and fireworks and. I mean, yes, that is the thing now. People are doing videos, and one girl was laying in a pile of the college gear.
It's for the gram. Everything is for the gram. The pumpkin patches. Every year y'all go to the pumpkin patch, and it's a movie. It's a production. I have been this way my entire life. And what way is that? Is I don't like to dress or do anything like other people. Once something becomes popular, I'm out. I've always been this way. No, I'm serious. Right now, shoes. If my dad were alive today, he would be laughing at the amount of people wearing New Balance. Because that was his thing. He was a New Balance king. Those were his police shoes. And then he went and got regular New Balance was his thing. Now, everybody's wearing them. Oh, Hokas. Everybody's wearing them. This whole thing. Now, the bachelorette thing, I want to get into this. I need your help. Anybody listening? What's going on with these bachelorette parties? Why is this such a big deal? I'm asking.
Well, you have bachelor parties.
No, we ain't talking about bachelor party. Because first of all, bachelor parties are the most unorganized things in the world. Sweeping statement. Nothing goes according to plan with a bachelor party.
Ain't nobody having matching outfits at the bachelor party. Like sashes, like themed drinks.
Sweeping statement, 9 times out of 10, it sounds good, but most around you get around, so what we gonna do? Well, you know what? We should go check out this place. And it's terrible. Really? But the bachelorette, y'all got matching outfits and themes.
Oh, they've got tattoos of your groom. I mean, they have all. I'm looking at Etsy.
Yeah.
And you would be amazed. It is an industry. It is an industry.
Wow. Look at that. And
personalized drinks. Oh, yeah.
And then y'all put pictures of the husband-to-be everywhere.
Tattoos of the groom on their arms. I mean, I have to tell you this. Every time I've, shouldn't say every time, but I've gone on a trip, and I'll usually see a group of women together, and they're dressed alike, and they're having fun. I mean, you know what? They're having fun. That's fine with me. I think that's awesome. I'm just making the point about this industry and how there's a whole other business conglomerate that's been created just catering to the Instagram feed.
Yes, and the gram. Like, a shout out to the pumpkin patches. Look.
What's your issue with the pumpkin patches?
The pumpkin patch was not, people went to it, but it wasn't like this. It is, lines and parking down the street. It ain't never used to be like that, right? What's happening is all for the gram. Another thing, how many of you all have you done dressed up in pajamas and did the pictures with your family during Christmas? I don't get it.
And I did it
I don't
because
get it.
I did it
Why'd you do
because
it?
I saw it on Instagram and thought it was cute.
See?
But to be honest, we've done it for years, and I actually don't think I've ever posted it, but we've done it for years. And you know where we got it from?
Who?
Costco. We didn't do the real Christmas. We just go there and just get some matching Costco ones.
Now everybody's going, like, my daughter, love her to death. In a year, she goes and gets photos taken probably 5 to 6 times. Me and Lillian, we got to go get some more pictures because our pictures are outdated. But if you're getting 5 or 6 times a year photos,
yeah,
what we doing?
I'll give you one sweeping statement. I think the bigger and crazier your bachelorette party is, the more likely you are to get divorced.
Why do you say that?
Why?
I'm not touching that.
It's like the weddings. Like, the more your wedding costs, the greater the likelihood is that you're going to get divorced. Because it's performative. It's not for you.
Nick, you got any thoughts on that?
It's all about the performance, like you said. I was thinking the holy ground of the photo op is the Tulip Festival and the flowers up north. That if you want to see some people trying to take photos, you go there.
The text line is quiet. You know why?
Why?
I think we're all guilty of it. I think we're
or
just
we have sensible listeners who don't participate in such malarkey.
Coming up next, scenarios. I need to break up, but she scares me to death. Next, Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers. They're not on canes. They're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape. You have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Do you notice sounds coming from your crawl space or attic, or possibly stale or foul odors in your home? This could be that rodents have gotten into your attic and crawl and have made it their home. They tear up the insulation to make nests to have babies. They contaminate it with their biological waste, which can be harmful to your health. And they ruin your home's energy blanket, costing you thousands of dollars a year. If you even think you may have a problem, call Insulation Northwest today, and we will come to your home as soon as tomorrow and perform a free, no-obligation inspection to determine what the problem is. This inspection normally costs $199, but it's yours free just for calling today. If we discover any problem with rodents in your home, we can get them out and keep them out and restore your home's protective insulation blanket back to brand new condition. Let Insulation Northwest give peace and comfort back to you and your family and save you thousands of dollars in energy savings. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Discover one of the new inventions in home comfort with mini split systems from Home Comfort Alliance. Call now for a free consultation and get 18 months same as cash financing. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Hey, Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp, owner of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp, I keep getting questions from our listeners. When's the right time to have this procedure? My eyes are changing. Should I wait until they're done changing?
Well, I always tell patients, do it now. Don't wait. Whatever age you are, and that's part of the mission of Sharp Vision, is that whatever age you are, whatever prescription you have, we try to find a procedure that works for you. When you're young, LASIK and PRK are great procedures. As we get older, the refractive lens exchange becomes more appealing because that can fix whatever glasses prescription, whether you're farsighted, nearsighted, or have astigmatism, and it fixes it permanently so you don't develop cataracts, and it allows you to see near without glasses.
Do what I did. Schedule a consultation to learn everything you need to know from the best Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. 425-451-2020, or go online to sharp-vision.com. That's sharp with an E-vision.com.
Before we get to scenarios,
are you going to tell him? Who's going to tell him?
What is going on? So, we're talking about the Bachelorette Industrial Complex, to which I started to make fun of the situations where you have the groom-to-be, the husband-to-be. I made fun of people having their faces all over the bachelorette party. And then in my text group, and by the way, during the break, I'm going to post these to the Gee and Ursula Facebook page because y'all got to see it. I'm just seeing this in real time.
And he is not happy.
I am not excited. You should see they didn't put my face all over these bodies. Now, that's my face, but that sure ain't my body.
Y'all oiled up and everything.
Oiled up with Vaseline, no Diddy. Man. All right, scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Oh, I'm starting to think I'm dating a crazy woman. Last week, I came home to find my place completely rearranged. First, she cleaned it like a show home, but she rearranged all the furniture, had the table set with candlelight, and had dinner ready, but she wasn't there. So I called, and she was waiting outside because she wanted me to be surprised. I was surprised, and I asked how she got in without a key. She told me she has special skills that came in handy, and she doesn't need a key to get in most places. Then, Last night, I came home and she was there again, cooking again. I ain't signed up for this. I need my space. I know I got to cut her off, but I'm a little scared. This woman is a little different, and I feel that it is kind of too late to just cut her off right away. I need your help. How should I break this off? Or maybe some of you all are thinking I should stay with her. 888-973-5476 is the text line. You're up the bat first, Angela.
I would immediately do an investigation. There would first be a criminal background check. I'd figure that out. Then, no, I'm serious. I would do a criminal background check. And then I would say, hey, I'd love to meet your family sometime. Like, I would play this. I think he needs to be very careful. So I'd meet her family.
Right.
If the family seems like they're normal as the day is long, and if the criminal background check clears, then you probably can safely cut her off. Otherwise, you may need to do just be a total jerk and get her to break up with you. I don't know. I'm worried about this person. Anyone that this is a girlfriend?
Yes.
Dating for how long? Oh, no.
Let's see here. It doesn't say how long they've been dating.
Joey said, is she a locksmith? Yeah. Someone said, move, sell your house and move now.
So
that's what I'm saying. That's why I would say before I would do anything, I would do an investigation and see how harmful this is. If it's clear and family's cool, you might be all right.
Now, Angela, I'm going to go ahead, Chef, and speak for a lot of men out here. Now, you're not going to admit this. You're not going to admit this. But I got a sweeping statement for you.
You like this kind of person, huh? Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
Men like a little crazy, especially when that crazy is all for them. She broke into the house, cleaned it up, rearranged it. She loves him so much that she broke in and cooked him dinner and waited for him to be surprised. Now, I'm not saying what you should do. I'm just telling you, fellas sometimes like a little crazy.
It's true until the crazy turns on you.
Yes. But until then, Chef, go ahead. We like a little crazy now.
I'm gonna refrain from saying something about putting. Okay, not that crazy, dude. Like, this is cleaning your house is one thing. Like, hey, she woke up early, spent the night, she cleaned up my whole pad. It looks great. This is snooping, right? This is going through all of your stuff. So if she cleaned it like it's, a show home, that means she's going through every little drawer, every little box, everything you got in your house. She wants to know everything about you, and she's crafting this little life in her head. She's already married to you in her head. You got to get digital locks, for one, because you can't pick those in the same way that you can pick a physical lock. And let her down hard. Do not lead her on more. Tell her it's disturbing and get out now.
There's a thin line between love and hate. Go ahead.
That's a good one right there. But I think it's a no-brainer for me with the breakup. But that's the easy part. The challenge would be the aftermath of making her follow through and move on. Because even if you burn the bridge, the writing on the wall says she could still be finding a way in the home, cooking in there while you're away, making the bed while you're gone, and God forbid, looking your way while you sleep. He's going to be surprised, all right, but not that kind of surprise you're thinking of. And guys like crazy, but not this kind of crazy.
Lynn Whitfield played 1996 Martin Lawrence. It's a thin line between love and hate. But I'm going to let me just tell you this. Another sweeping statement. The woman that acts this way usually makes a lot of money. Women that make more money than the man are usually controlling in this way. And that's why some fellas that like a little crazy.
Or they needed a restraining order.
This is why romance movies are so dangerous. Because they teach you that this behavior is like normal and desirable.
Well, I just remember being that 19-year-old girl and feeling like the guys wanted that kind of crazy, exciting, on the edge person. Yeah. And I wasn't. So I believe you. I think you're right. And I think your sweeping statement is grounded in some truth.
I'm telling you, you're like a little crazy. Hey,
Chef, by the way, y'all not watching and listening, Chef is just shaking his head. He's like, I'm just sitting here so I don't get fined.
Fool me once.
Let me tell you something. if she is bold enough to break in your crib and cook you meals, boy, she on point. Hey, coming up next, agree to disagree. Gee Ursula.
Whatever temperatures this summer brings, your friendly and knowledgeable Bryant dealer is ready to help. Your dealer is committed to achieving a high level of training, and skills are backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. So whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new cooling system, your local Bryant dealer will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort.
Schedule an appointment today. For a dealer near you, visit BryantNorthwest.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This could be the oddest gift anyone's ever given me.
But I'll bet you use it.
When the time is right, I suppose.
That's the idea.
A plunger.
An Apollo plumbing plunger.
Free for me?
Actually, free to everyone we visit.
Because?
We believe some things you can do on your own.
And if this plunger can't fix it?
Apollo Plumbing will.
Just like that.
You call, we come. It's fixed.
Wouldn't you rather I just call?
You're welcome to.
Okay.
But for a simple backup?
Something I can solve myself?
Try your free plunger.
I'll admit it's kind of spiffy.
Apply a little pressure.
And if it still won't clear?
Call Apollo Plumbing.
The ready right now plumbers.
Our big blue trucks come stocked full of fixes.
And a plunger wielding plumber.
A clean screen trained and trustworthy Apollo plumber.
They come in a jiffy.
Arriving when promised to put plumbing problems in your past.
And give me a free plunger.
That too.
You know, I kind of like this plunger.
I'm sure it'll come in handy.
Just like Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Justice Department is charging the suspect who attacked a group in Boulder, Colorado with the federal hate crime and say he told police he had planned the attack and would do it again. Mohammed Solomon is charged with targeting a crowd supporting hostages in Gaza. Reporter Ashley Portillo.
8 people in total were injured as a result of these attacks. They were all taken to local hospitals, some of them in critical condition. Their ages ranging anywhere from 52 years old up until 88 years old. Now, some of those people we have learned from those hospitals have been discharged. One of the victims, though, was an 88-year-old Holocaust refugee.
I'm Stacey Lynn at the White House. President Trump posted about the violence on Truth Social, saying acts of terrorism will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He said this is yet another example of why we must keep our borders secure and deport illegal anti-American radicals from our homeland.
The Supreme Court will not hear a challenge to Maryland's ban on assault weapons. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
For now, the Supreme Court, a majority of them said not to take these cases. But there are at least 3 justices who are very eager to take a look at the Second Amendment issue. And there's Justice Thomas, who says over and over again that there should not be limits on these types of weapons.
Trump administration officials insist there is still a plan for high-level talks with China on ending the trade war. CBS's Weijia Jiang.
All we know is that it could happen as soon as this week. That's what his top economic advisor tells CBS News, along with the Treasury Secretary, so they're being very vague about it.
The Chinese just threatened retaliation for Trump's latest moves. Smoke from Canadian wildfires continues to blanket parts of the U.S. Meteorologist Craig Allen is tracking it.
The northern tier of the United States is experiencing the very smoky skies from these fires, especially across eastern portions of North Dakota, but more so Minnesota more than any other state, but portions of Wisconsin and Michigan as well.
Some good news for a change at Newark Airport in New Jersey, which has been plagued by technical problems and flight delays. CBS's Tom Hansen reports an important runway is ready for operation again.
To our surprise, the project has wrapped up early. So this is a big day for Newark Liberty International Airport as one of the key runways reopens. That means that there is an expected uptick in the volume of flights that are going to be taking off from here as well.
The shortage of air traffic controllers will take much longer to address. On Wall Street, the Dow currently off 163 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We hear from the son of a local man viciously stabbed. The story coming up at first from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. In Seattle, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at Corson Avenue. Watch out for that. In Edmonds, the crash has been cleared from I-5 southbound at State Route 104. Travel time Linwood to Seattle is back under 20 minutes. In Marysville, State Route 529 southbound continues to be closed for bridge repair. I-5 is backed up to 116th Street Northeast now. Travel time Arlington to Everett, half an hour, nearly 20 minutes longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Through June, save $750 per window and $1,500 per door. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A rideshare driver is recovering but might lose his eye after he was stabbed in the parking lot of a restaurant in Everett. More from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloth.
Rideshare driver Yuri Vakulchik became the victim of a brutal, bloody attack. Yuri's son says someone came up from behind and grabbed him.
He heard the guy say, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead," and started slicing him.
Any idea what may have provoked this?
I have no idea.
He says his father was cut multiple times in the neck and head. When police showed up, the attacker took off in Yuri's SUV. Officers quickly tracked down and arrested the suspect. Yuri is still recovering. His son credits police for saving his dad's life.
One person is in custody accused of stabbing 11 people at a homeless shelter in Salem, Oregon last night. First responders say there are varying degrees of injuries. No word yet on what prompted the attack. Seattle police are looking for the gunman who injured a man in an early morning shooting. KIRO News Radio Scott Carty with that story.
It happened in a homeless encampment. It appears the suspect had the victim's phone cord and wouldn't give it back. After arguing, the 41-year-old victim was shot. He was soon found on Hanford Street near Franklin High School. A tourniquet was applied, and he was transported to Harborview in stable condition. Scott Carty, KIRO News Radio.
A new program starts today to improve safety in Seattle's Chinatown International District. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more on the Community Ambassador Program.
Those ambassadors will be walking around every day, 7 days a week, usually in the afternoon and evening hours. This is in response to the recent violence in this district. Just in the month of May, 2 shootings and a stabbing hurt 4 people. In December, another man was attacked. And in November, 10 people were stabbed in separate incidents, but police did did make an arrest for that.
What a way to begin your major league career. The Mariners called up Cole Young from the minors to play in Saturday's game against the Twins before a home crowd and in the bottom of the 11th.
Swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base, throw home, not in time!
Young hit the winning run in. The M's won 2 in their 3-game series against Minnesota. They start a 3-game homestand against Baltimore tomorrow. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Monday, June 2nd. Angela Pope Russell is in. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning. It's so good to be with you.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Everybody, today's Monday. My news boss has been open all show.
See, that's growth mindset. I love it.
I'm turning over a new leaf. From this day forward, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's just an off random day. Good morning to you, Nick. Good morning, Chef. Let's get to it. Agree to disagree. Brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters. One of these days, we just gotta take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
There are a couple people here at the station who are steadfast that we will not give our kids smartphones until they're maybe 16 or so. Jake being one, myself being the other. And so I was fascinated to run across this article today in the Post called "Parents Are Discovering the Secret to Keeping Their Kids Off Smartphones." It's by the author of this book called The Tech Exit. And what she says, she looks into the whole phenomenon, is that if you don't want your kid to demand a phone, to have a phone, you need to have them hang out with other kids who are in the same category. And Angela, I got to ask, is it worth it? Should you let your kid hang out with other kids who have phones if you're trying to keep them off of one?
No, not without a discussion with the parents. But if the other parent is willing to have them put away, and obviously we're talking, depends on the age, but if we're talking elementary, young, middle school, this is where all the trouble happens, y'all. The kids get together and you think they're just going to be hanging out, watching a movie, playing. And what happens is they're all on their phones. And that's when they start, let's send this Snapchat. They send offensive things. They post things. They do things. A lot of the trouble I've seen has been when kids get together. They're each on their phones and, someone has an idea. I won't throw my own kids under the bus, but I'll just say, believe it or not, the trouble happens when they're together on their phones.
How old were your kids when they got their first smartphones? Be honest.
My younger one, 8th grade, but it was during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so we were going to wait till high school, and then the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, 7th grade. It was 7th grade. And I was going to wait because there's this program called Wait Until 8th, and then the pandemic hit. And there was a challenge with her staying connected and things like that. So that's when I got the technology.
How about your older daughter?
I don't remember.
Did you wait until 16?
No, but but I tell you what, knowing what I know now, I tell young parents with young kids, I said, if you think you're going to break, call me. Yeah. And you know what I mean by break. If you think you're going to break down and give them one, call me. Yeah. Because as the longer you can fend off this beast, the better.
What's your take, before I answer this, what is your take on people without kids giving advice to people with kids?
I think it's not wise, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Low-tech version. I remember not having, when I didn't have kids, and I'd be in the stores judging the parents who are giving their kids all these unhealthy snacks. Mm-hmm. I'd never do that. All this stuff. So judgy. Right. And all of a sudden you're a parent and you're trying to keep your kid quiet in the store. You're like, take the Cheez-Its, take them, whatever it takes right now, okay? Mm-hmm. So I really do have a problem when you don't have experience and you want, or you don't know what it's like and you're trying to come at me. Mm-hmm. Well, you can, but I can just tell you there's nothing like walking in the person's shoes. Mm-hmm. That will give you a different perspective.
In the movie Weatherman, Will Ferrell. You all know the character he plays. And there was a point in there where they were talking about the weather conditions. And Will Ferrell goes, I don't believe you. This goes for all of the parents that sit back and say that I'm going to not give my child a smartphone until they turn 16. To which I bring out Will Ferrell. I don't believe you. When you get to that situation, prove me wrong. I don't believe you. Because it's easier said than done. Everybody says what they gonna do. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. I don't believe you.
That's why I said, if you think you're going to break, call me. Like, lean on. I think it's good to have a support system and other parents that you share similar values and you're all trying to hang in there, because it's hard.
16.
To your point, we were talking about earlier how everything is centered around technology. I'll give you an example. My kid wants to go have pizza after school. There are all these places that won't take cash. So then you have to either give them a credit card, or I gave my kid access to Apple Pay.
Right.
So it just becomes... It's really difficult, especially when they get a little bit older. Here's what I think is good. When you it's that quote, shoot for the moon and at least you'll land among the stars. Mm-hmm. So if you say 16 and it ends up being 14, you've done really well.
It's kind of like saying, I'm going to wait until marriage, and then you make it to 20. Something like that. I don't know. This book actually is fascinating. I'm going to read it because she writes that contrary to what you think and what I thought from the outset, these kids aren't isolated, odd, or antisocial. They're normal families that have strong relationships with their kids. Their kids, in fact, aren't resentful of being deprived of smartphones and social media. And the grown children are thankful for the technology restrictions that they had during childhood. So, hey, if I can hold out, we'll see. It's going to be a battle, though. You see the most creative stuff on social media. Case in point, I saw an Uber driver with a sign on the back side of their driver's seat that read, "Your driver is a member of the deaf community. Please wave if you need to get my attention." Next to it, there's a little clipboard with paper and pen. But the driver was not, in fact, deaf. The reason why they did this is because they did not want their passengers to talk to them. And gee, I saw that and I'm like, this is the driver I want.
Wait!
What?
Wait, time out! Time out! That should be illegal.
Why?
And let me tell you why. In the last 6 months, I've had 2 drivers that said that they were deaf. I hope they weren't lying to me, because I got in the car and didn't say anything. I hope they're telling the truth.
You can test it by just making a really loud noise, clapping.
I would have still been trying to communicate, like trying to be...
You know what? Now, from this day forward, I'm going to test it out.
Okay.
I'm in the back of Uber right now. This driver is terrible. And if they look,
I can smell them.
If they look in the rearview mirror at me, I want a refund. I want a refund.
So I saw this and I'm like, you know what? This guy follows basically my ethos, and that is you have no obligation to make small talk with your rideshare driver or your barber or hairstylist or somebody who's giving you a pedicure or massage or anyone that you're paying a service for that you just have to share the same space with.
Yes, you do.
Would you agree with that, Angela?
No, I agree. I wish sometimes I just would want to tell the driver I do not want to talk. I mean, I've had a couple of them. One of them, all these questions in me, all these questions. And I wish I could put up, but I wouldn't do that, like go that far. But I wish there was some kind of button like, hey, I don't want to talk. Now, I do want to acknowledge someone's humanity. Like, I want to say, hello, how are you? Like, pleasantries. And then after that, I'm in my own world. I want a minute. I don't like this pressure to have to, like, speak the whole time, especially if I'm on a 30-minute drive or something longer. So I'm kind of with you, Chef, on this.
See, I'm not rocking with y'all. You don't know what you can do for that other person. You can feel it out. Get in. Hey, how's your day today? And they say, oh, it's good. How about yours? Oh, it's great. Beautiful day, this and that. If they continue to engage, I'm going to engage. Because sometimes, now, should you feel obligated? No. How I look at it is I try to do just goodwill, right? To have discussions, conversations with people, whether it is the barber or the massage therapist or the Uber driver or something
Talk to your
like that.
massage therapist?
I mean, not after a while. I say a couple things, but you try to do your best to talk to people.
Oh, John and Brenton said
awkward.
this isn't new that Elaine did this on Seinfeld. That's why I never saw.
They had rideshare drives back then.
I don't know, but maybe Elaine was like, "Don't talk to me." I don't know.
I'm sure Elaine did that when it comes to not necessarily rideshare, but other.
Here's the deal. If people just had better EQ, and what I mean, you touched on a point. You'll appreciate this. It's almost like dating. And if I say, "Hey, how you doing?" The other person says, "Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?" I'm good. If the person you're trying to engage doesn't offer another question, that's clue that they likely aren't into you. If they're like, "Hey, so what you got planned?" Something. So that should be the clue that if we could all just pick up on those things, that would make life
but a lot of people can't.
Did I hit the dating analogy?
No. Hey, Angela giving y'all real game. That goes for y'all opening up Tinder or Bumble or Match and all these things. If that person doesn't have any more questions for you, that's a sign. And you end up being a bugaboo by continuing to contact them. Trust me, if he or she is interested, they got another question for you.
Okay, I got to ask you about that because I have a rule when it comes to socializing with other people. A number of times over the last couple of years, my wife and I have hung out with another couple or, one person, right? Spend a whole evening with them, dinner, play a game, whatever. And at the end of the evening, if that person has not asked me a personal question, I do not want to hang out with them again. Period.
Yes. Okay.
And yet my wife is like, no, maybe they're just socially awkward.
Nah.
And I'm like, I ain't wasting my time.
I've touched on this thing. I've talked to my husband about it. It's happened a few times where literally someone could go a whole night and not ask a question.
Yes.
Sweeping statement. I think it's a younger generation thing.
You think so?
I've seen it mainly with younger generation. I have. And it's like I'm having to initiate every
exhausting.
You're at a dinner and it's like, do you not have a question?
This is not an interview,
there's
right?
Nothing.
It's,
and then
it's
I feel
tennis.
like
we go back and
have
forth.
You ever experienced this where you're hanging out and no one like if I've been in situations where if I didn't ask a question and we're at and I'm not talking like a driver, but I'm talking like you're at a dinner or something where you have to be in space.
Right.
It would literally be silence. Just no curiosity, no.
I want to admit something to everyone. Between myself and Chef, when it comes to being in social situations, whether it's a party and or a get-together, I've been around Chef in these things. I will let everyone know Chef does a better job than I do in engaging with people. I don't know if, seriously, outside of this show, Ursula has told you guys, outside of this show, I'm not really as personable as some of you all might think. I really sometimes can get peopled out. If I'm just there and I'm not working and I'm just there for an event, I'm quiet. Chef does a better job than me. Chef will be curious, ask questions, talk to this person.
My mother-in-law fell in love with Chef and his wife. She's like, we can have Chef over to the house. And
Your mother-in-law's amazing.
Yeah, but
she's giving me hugs and she's like, come on over to my house.
Your mother-in-law didn't say that about me. I told you. She said that about Chef.
She said about Chef.
Matter of fact, I've been over to Angela's crib. That was 6 months ago. Ain't been invited back since.
All right. Gee, I feel like this one is just teed up absolutely for you.
Yeah.
See the headline in the New York Times this morning? They have this column called The Ethicist, right? And the question is, should I feel bad about running errands during work hours?
Oh, Lord.
No.
You ready? Go.
You want to go first?
No, you go first.
No. If I'm getting my work done, then if I choose to get it done from 1 p.m. to 10 or go from 8 to 5 and take some breaks in the middle, I don't get why that's a big deal. And, we've seen stories of people getting fired because their company found out they were doing this or doing that. I'm a big believer, is the work done? Are you doing a good job? Okay, geez. I love the nonverbal cues. Did you know the research shows that most of our communication is nonverbal, G? Which is why the YouTube is really important.
I'm terrible.
But going back to my point, I do not think that people should be able to run errands as long as they get their work done. They're not stealing from the company.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And this is why I would say, sweeping statement, 50% of people that work from home do less work than those at the office. And I'll say even more of a sweeping statement. 85 to 90% of people that work from home get better and are able to take advantage of the PTO system more than people that work at the office. So don't miss me with all this stuff. Oh, is anybody going to argue with the PTO situation?
Okay. Let me concede one point. I will say on the PTO thing, absolutely you could. Especially if you're working from home. I can get on a flight today, work on the flight, totally.
Okay.
But here's where I would strongly disagree. I actually worked more when I started working from home. When I used to work, so when I started at King 5, it was all in person. For evening, we were in person. Mm-hmm. And after I'd put in the day, I was like, you know what? I've done my best for the day. It's time for me to go home. I would shut down my computer. Once the work from home started, all of a sudden there were no boundaries. And so if I knew I wanted to get this story done or in, I found myself working more hours than when I was in the office and put up that boundary and had that separation.
The heartbeat of the company are not the people that work from home.
Depends on your company.
How do y'all feel? Text us 888-973-5476. That was a fun agree to disagree. Sean in Parkland, only okay for white collar workers. Okay.
Very few people have jobs where they have immediate demands and tasks.
Let me check in Let me check in with my partner Nick. Hey Nick, what do you think about my sweeping statements on people working from home?
I think you're pretty on point, man. I mean, the people around here, we work hard in the office, and I have some friends who have at least worked from home in the past, and let's just say they're not always working at the desk at home.
I mean, you all know people that work from home. You know them. You've seen them. You've been at get-togethers and parties when they brought the laptop to the party. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, man.
There's no threat of public perception. Nobody's watching them.
Don't act like we new to this. Y'all know we true to this. Coming up next, more of the Gee and Ursula Show with Angela Poe Russell. This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
You listen to Seattle's morning news every morning. What do Charlie and Manda listen to every afternoon?
I absolutely love listening to John Curley because he makes you think, which I love.
John has a real special talent in being able to talk about the topics we care about, but he's always trying to make it fun. And you're going, oh, this guy actually gets it.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7. Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio App.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Do you have multiple broken or missing teeth? I'm Holly with South Seattle Smiles, a unique dental implant practice using many employer-based medical insurances to pay for life-altering dental implant treatment. Your insurance company will never volunteer to help. That's where I come in. I guide you through the medical insurance bureaucracy, and I'm really good at it. Call us now at 206-241-5533. We are in network with Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO. That's 206-241-5533 or at southseattlesmiles.com.
Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp, owner of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp, I am amazed at the brightness and the clarity that I didn't even realize I'd lost before I had my procedure. How's that even possible?
A lot of people don't realize that. As you get older, the lens not only is less flexible, but it gets less transparent. And gradually, even in our 40s, 50s, 60s, the lens variety does get less transparent. So you get more glare at night, more halos, loss of contrast sensitivity, loss of some color vision or decreased color vision.
What I was seeing.
And so when we replace that lens that gets cloudier and cloudier with a crystal clear lens, all of the light gets through, all of the clarity, all the brightness, all the colors. And again, with the multifocal lenses that we have, it's sort of like a bifocal built in, so you can see near and far.
Give the folks at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens a call at 425-451-2020 or online at sharp-vision.com. Sharp with an e-vision.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Get away this summer on the FRS Clipper Fast Ferry to beautiful Victoria, BC. Named the world's #1 small city by Condé Nast readers. Enjoy fabulous restaurants, shopping, and outdoor adventures. Save with overnight and travel packages. Book today at frsclipper.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A search is underway for three sisters, ages 9, 8, and 5, last seen in Wenatchee. The State Patrol believes they're with their 32-year-old father, but that it's a dangerous situation. He's homeless and has been living off and on in hotels, campgrounds, and in his car. We put their photos up at mynorthwest.com. Contact police if you've seen them. A King County Sheriff's deputy faces sexual misconduct and rape charges involving a teenager. Casey McNerney with the King County Prosecutor's Office.
The allegations are that this deputy, who's now on administrative leave, had improper sexual relations with a victim who was 17 at the time.
Deputy Ricardo Arturo Cueva was 32 at the time. The girl was in the Police Explorers program and he was the group leader. His bail set at $150,000. The man accused of throwing Molotov cocktails, injuring 8 people in Boulder, Colorado, makes his first court appearance today. The victims were marching in support of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. Jonathan Greenblatt heads the Anti-Defamation League.
My first concern is for the 8 victims of this firebombing. We understand these people in their mid-50s to their late 80s. One of whom is a Holocaust survivor.
The suspect is a 45-year-old Egyptian national heard yelling "Free Palestine" during the attack. Ukraine strikes deep into the heart of Russia with a daring drone attack.
Bomber after Russian bomber blown to pieces in explosion after explosion in Ukraine's Operation Spider's Web, targeting 5 Russian air bases across the country. The closest, about 300 miles from the war's front line. The furthest, more than 3,700 miles away in Russia's Far East.
CBS's Remy Inocencio says the more than 100 drones had been smuggled into the country. President Trump is expected to talk tariffs on the phone this week with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Usually when the United States and the Chinese leaders talk, there's a formal request for that. Doesn't sound necessarily like we're near that, despite what the president and his top officials are hoping for.
The trade war is blamed for a 25% reduction in cargo traffic at the Port of Seattle this year compared to last year. On Wall Street, the Dow is down over those China trade concerns. The Dow is off 40 points. Nasdaq's up about 110. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, a crash is blocking all lanes right now of State Route 18 eastbound at Issaquah Hobart Road. No backup there just yet. In Bellevue, a crash is blocking 2 lanes on I-405 northbound near the I-90 interchange. You're backed up into Factoria. Travel time Renton to Bellevue half an hour. That's about 15 minutes longer than usual. And in Marysville, State Route 529 southbound is closed for bridge repair. I-5 taking the brunt of it. You're backed up to 116th Street Northeast. Travel time Arlington to Everett 25 minutes, 12 longer than usual. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny today with highs around 70. It's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Angela Poe Russell hanging out with the Gee and Ursula Show. We're so grateful that you all are hanging out with us here on KIRO Radio. Make sure you check out the YouTube. A lot of folks hanging out there on YouTube. We got a community going right there. And feel free to text us at 888-973-5476.
Okay,
Angela?
before you dive in, Nick, I need to know what song that was.
That was Music and Lights by Imagination.
Okay,
You haven't heard that one?
No, I really liked it.
70s tune.
Music and Lights. Okay.
Have you ever seen the movie Lethal Weapon?
It's been a while.
With Danny Glover and Mel
Yes,
Gibson.
wasn't it kind of a comedy?
No,
No, it wasn't? Okay.
Not really necessarily a comedy, but in it, Danny Glover is known for a particular phrase. By the way, Danny Glover was 41 years old when he played that part, and he had a popular phrase, and you all listening, you know what that was. I'm too old for this ish, is what he said. Well, this topic right here is where I'm at. I'm too old for this. Now, there's a long-standing tradition of men proposing marriage to women. And in this day of slow movement towards gender equity, gotta wonder if the percent of marriage proposals initiated by women has increased. So we decided, no, it wasn't me, I ain't do nothing, but Chef and them decided to do some research. And it turns out it's still exceedingly is rare for women to propose to men. Only 1 or 2% of marriages, depending on the survey you look at. But the overwhelmingly majority of men would welcome a proposal.
Really?
A Glamour survey found that 70% of men would be excited if their female partner proposed. Now, Angela and everybody listening, it says 70% of men. G don't know one. I don't know one. And I'm going to tell you right now, sweeping statement. If you're one of those that's sitting around waiting for a woman to propose to you, then you sit down and pee. What you got?
Okay, I have a question before I weigh in on my opinion. Why did it indicate why the men would welcome the proposal? Is it because of the pressure of not doing it? Is it because they don't want to have to buy the ring? Is it because they want to feel wanted? Like, what? Do we know the reasons?
There's a question that's going around. And the question is this. Is it a better deal to be proposed to or to be the one proposing? And, what is happening across the country is you got a lot of folks that run around their house and don't run their house.
What do you mean by that? You think someone should run a house?
I ain't saying that.
Do you believe in traditional family values, G?
Yeah, I do. I do believe in some tradition. So, for an example, if there is a break-in at 2:30 in the morning and wife and husband are upstairs and it sounds like somebody's climbing through the window, who's going downstairs, the husband or the wife?
That would usually be the husband.
Okay, then you believe a traditional thing. You with me?
And if there's a spider, I may or may not call for reinforcement.
Do you know how annoyed I get with that? I'm like, it's a spider. Like, you can handle it. Trust me. You can handle it. It brings me no joy.
But here's my.
So you agree?
Okay, so here's my thing though. We can be, as humans, we have contradictions. And when people are just like, well, I'm all about female empowerment. I'm all about that. But then people take it to this extreme, but then they want the man to swoop in and do, they want to have it both ways. And it's, yeah. So here's where I stand on that. I think I like the traditional way it's done. When you look at when we get into the marriage, the burden that women carry, we still do the majority of the chores. We still do the, if you have children, a lot of that burden is on you, the process. So if this is a moment where you get catered to and you get the ring and you get the flowers and all this stuff, enjoy that ish, as you said. Enjoy that ish. Because, it's not going to be a crystal stair sometimes.
I've got a couple thoughts on this one because one, I know that there are a lot of women in relationships who have waited years for him to ask the question, right? And why is it in today's society where it is acceptable? I'm a traditional dude, but why is it in today's society would the woman not just propose in that situation? And I think guys don't really want this power taken away from them because it is kind of a power of control. You get to decide the future of the relationship and whether it moves forward or not. And I guarantee like 9 out of 10 dudes, if the woman asked them, hey, will you marry me? Here's the ring. I'm getting down on my knee. They would not know what to say. And a lot of them would be like, I I got to think about it.
I know someone indirectly who did it. And I think your theory, just on my this one example, she's kind of a boss. She's kind of a boss, type A, leader, executive kind of person. And they're together, I think still together as far as I know. But if I were to look at personality type, I definitely think she has the power, if you will. Which, yeah, I mean, you're just looking at me like this.
No, I love what you have to say on this topic. I would say the reason why I love doing this topic with you so much, Angela, because there's nothing that you could say to sway or make me believe other than you like the traditional situation. I know it is embedded in you. And not just with this topic, all other topics that we talk about will center around you like it. And by the way, I've met your husband before. I've met him before.
Yes. What about...
And your husband's a man's man.
Oh, and I like that. But you know what I also like? What I also like is that, I grew up in a household where my dad participated in grocery shopping. He participated in cooking. Both people worked. So to me, it doesn't have to be this black and white thing of, just because I did the proposing, that kind of thing. So
no. Just so you know, a man be cooking, going to the grocery store, doing all those things.
But you're saying there's a leader.
Yes.
Is there a leader in?
Yes.
Chef, is there a leader in
Yes.
Hero?
See, y'all don't want to touch these topics publicly. I'm telling you right now. Yes.
Okay, my mother-in-law said something.
What'd she say?
She said, "Don't start something you don't want to finish." And my concern is if you do have the woman who proposes, to Chef's point, it creates this dynamic. And just know that may be the dynamic in the marriage as well. And if you want that, that's great.
I think the reason women don't do it is because they don't really want to know the answer. You're in that long-term relationship. He's not throwing down the ring. You could ask, but then you would know.
I want to make sure that we're not an echo chamber here. I want to invite Gen Z into this conversation. Nick, question, how many of your partners, fellas that you know, have been proposed to by a woman?
Can't think of any, but I will say you're on the right page because we mentioned this earlier. Some guys like the women who are a little more freaky, and sometimes the women are the one who are going to propose.
Hey, 360 says, wife proposed to me. We're going on 20 years. I want to know more. I want to know how she did.
That's
got to
awesome.
text us, how she did it. What's it like?
My man Nick said the quiet part out loud, but I've been wanting to say that all show.
I'm bringing it back.
You've been dancing around that.
Dancing around it, and Nick just comes in and off the top ropes, WWE style. Boom.
I want to be told what to do. I want to be told when.
And you know what? There are some people that need to be told what to do. Unfortunately, I think that, whether it's work, relationships, or anything. And by the way, that goes both sides. I don't think anybody should be told what to do.
Yeah.
You should be able to just do it. Text message feedback, and then we'll have Words to Live By Angela. Gee and Ursula.
You listen to The John Curley Show every afternoon. What does John listen to every morning?
I listen to Charlie and Manda, get my pot of coffee going, then turn on Seattle's Morning News, and I begin to build my show that way. And you want straight news without opinion, just giving it to you with the facts. There's only one place to go, Seattle's Morning News.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute. Seattle's Morning News and The John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio. Download the KIRO News Radio app to listen anytime.
It's that time of year. It is the month of June where DUI arrests increases during that time. First, no one should drink and drive. Give up those keys. But right now, if you are someone or a loved one you know that has been arrested for DUI, Jonathan from DUI Heroes is here for you. Right now, if someone is pulled over for DUI around this time, contact DUI Heroes immediately. Your DUI defense specialist, 1-800-DUI-HERO, DUIHeroes.com.
Are you looking at senior living options for you or a loved one? If so, you likely have many questions like, what can I afford? How long will my savings last? And if I run out of money, will I have to move out? If these questions are weighing on you, I'm here to talk you through different solutions. Hi, I'm Amanda from Care Partners Senior Living. At Care Partners, we're focused on offering high-quality, compassionate care at very affordable prices to help stretch and preserve your assets. And if you ever run out of funds and need to convert to Medicaid, you won't have to move. We have vibrant communities throughout Western Washington, Spokane, and Arizona offering independent, assisted living, and memory care. Our caregivers are some of the most loving and genuine people you'll ever meet. Stretch your assets, preserve your estate, and never worry about moving. That's peace of mind and the Care Partners Living difference. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com. Care Partners is excited to announce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, Snohomish, and North Creek Bothell. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today for a free in-home estimate. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
Cold weekend in Rochester, and the moon is creeping in, water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
It's the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell has been hanging out all day today. Angela, it's been fun. It feels like I ain't even worked today. Feel like
Aw, that's so sweet, G.
Yeah, I ain't worked today.
Sentimental.
Just feel like just hanging out. All right, but I've been working all day. News Boss has been open the entire time. Nick, I don't want anybody to ever say I didn't work.
We're knocking on wood right now. We're going to keep the momentum.
Okay.
And Nick, quickly, I think Ty wanted. Could you repeat the name of that group earlier?
Music and Lights, Imagination.
Music and Lights.
1982.
That's the name. I didn't know there was a group called Music and Lights.
That's
but I like
the name of the song.
Oh, Music and Lights.
Imagination is the group.
Imagination.
Well,
Got it.
Nick seems to know that all the different songs.
Yeah, that was pretty
It's
good.
really good.
That was pretty
All right,
good.
you want to start us off on the text messages?
Let's do it. We were talking about goals for 2025, almost at the halfway mark to the year.
Yeah.
Stan in Linwood says, my goal for the year, do not put off until tomorrow that which you can avoid altogether.
We had the discussion on trans athletes. Just to keep you up to speed, there have been 2 state champions, one with the state of California, one here at the state of Washington, 2A 400-meter state champion. We had that discussion. Andy in Newcastle says, once again, your team is so authentic and non-political. It's so impressive that as you all discussed the trans story, I did not detect one bit of political leanings. 100% real. Awesome. Way to kick off the week.
Yep, 206. On the topic of women's sports, I agree with G. Awards should go to biological women. Otherwise, what is the point of women's sports? How about people with no disabilities competing in Special Olympics? We are all differently able, so why not let people with hidden disabilities? Okay.
Ed in Ballard, our good friend, says biological advantages in girls' sports have existed long before the current trans debate. Basketball and volleyball won't look at girls who are under 5'7", even though that's most girls. If we let girls who are over 6 feet tall play sports, we can include trans girls.
All right, we were also talking about the lawsuit, the Catholic Church suing over the mandatory reporting law related to confession. Kay and Spanaway, my understanding is confession is completely anonymous, and to report, you have to remove the anonymity aspect from it altogether. So I understand why Catholics would be upset.
Carrie on Camano Island says, I'm Catholic and I believe protecting children should always come first. I think that's what Jesus would want. It's true. This isn't spelled out in the Bible, but Jesus did say, on this rock, I will build my church, referring to St. Peter, the first pope. The Catholic Church and the Pope are the ones who establish doctrine. I think some priests are afraid that if confession laws change, they'll lose the ability to help heal souls and guide people toward heaven.
Yeah, very thoughtful comment. 206. Thanks, G. And I appreciate Angela pointing out that the confession isn't actually biblical. Anyone can go directly to God. You don't need a priest as a middleman.
Janice in Federal Way says, amen. And I personally feel that if you don't report a kid, you are just as guilty and should get in trouble.
Well, all right, we were talking about the proliferation of QR codes, text requirements, apps, all the things. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but Sassy, we are choosing convenience over connection. Then we wonder when we feel less connected and less sense of community.
206 says, even on real estate signs, you can't just see how many bedrooms the place has anymore. You've got to scan a QR code or dig online. This isn't a boomer thing. People in their 30s are saying it takes too much time at restaurants and events to stop and pull out the phones. And not everyone has a big enough screen to navigate these basic tasks.
All right, on childcare, I think we do one more. Grandma, Brian in Marysville. Grandma can step up, LOL. The problem is you need 2 incomes to pay the bills, and the retirement age keeps moving higher. Grandmas are still working.
That's a good point. All right, Angela, hit us up with them words to live by. What you got?
Yes, I'm doing it. All right, here we go. Live so that when your children think of fairness, caring, and integrity, they think of you. H. Jackson Brown Jr. Do I need to repeat it?
Nah, I'm just letting it marinate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was good. That was good. Brother Nick, what you got?
Well, first I thought a wedding was the main event for most before going through a honeymoon and marriage in the post, but apparently the pregame is where all the fun is found for the bachelorettes, at least, who need a photo op around. Unless, of course, there's still debate on who needs to propose, waiting for the question to be asked before they start the show. And as Danny Glover would say about these new marriage games, I'm getting too old for this.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Oh, good stuff. What you got going on the rest of the day, Angela?
I'm working on the script, G. Everything is, listen, writing a musical is like, and I have a partner we're writing it with together, and it's like putting together a puzzle. So every day I'm working on this puzzle. That's what I'm doing.
Is it fun?
It's fun. It's also very frustrating at times. But that's like, I mean, it's any job.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff. Thank you. And you'll be back tomorrow.
What are you
of
doing?
course.
You've already worked out, right?
Yeah, I've already worked out. I got some meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And then after my meetings, I'll be out in the yard.
Oh, yeah. That's become your new thing.
Yeah.
That's become your new thing, to be out in the,
I'm seriously, like, straight up, over the last 6 months, 6, 7, I'm changing before our eyes. Like, I am, like, really getting older. Not like my body. I'm just saying my mind. The way I think, what I'm doing is seriously things that I never thought that I would enjoy doing.
Would you say you're becoming more traditional over there?
Oh, come on now, Nick. Come on.
I don't know, going to the theater, and working in the garden.
Ta-ta! Thanks, Chef. Thank you, Nick. Hey, the Jake and Spike Show, stick around. They coming in next. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Pickleball is, obviously, it's a growing sport, but also just to the community in Seattle, they've already welcomed it. The beautiful thing about this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
You know, we're excited about this pickleball tournament. It's all about bringing families together, but also, you know, you get to come out there and compete against myself, Doug, Michael Bennett, and we are the most competitive people. So regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl. And again, it's just all about bringing community together and having a great time, but all for a great cause and raising money for these grassroots organizations.
Come out and help me beat Cliff. Help me beat Cliff.
All right, this is going to be fun. Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
Hey folks, John Curley here. One of the best home comfort inventions of recent time, mini split systems. Now you can enjoy efficient heating and cooling while saving energy and reducing utility bills with personalized room comfort. Call my friends at Home Comfort Alliance for a free consultation, and for a limited time, get 18 months same as cash financing on all qualified systems. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it